What's up, Thunder Nation? Thunder up. Welcome to the Sooner Surge Thunder post game live as total domination in the second half. I mean, you're getting ready to hear the score of the second half, and you might be surprised 70-40. And that's what Thunder does. I mean, that's what they do to you. It can be a tight game, and then you look up and they're up 15, 20 points, and that's what happened today. We're going to talk about it here for the next 20 minutes or so. Just an outstanding second half performance. And I think you could look at many things in this game to see when the tides changed a little bit. But a few things I want to mention right off the bat, Jackson, that I think were big. One, Minnesota 15 of 51 from three-point range. That's not going to get it done. Meanwhile, the Thunder, they only shoot 23s, 10 for 20. I love that number. They don't need to shoot 40. And so that's one stat that I look at and like, okay, that's a big stat. The other one is 70-40 in the second half. And Edwards, I believe, I may be wrong, but I think he shot one ball in the fourth quarter. Between Caruso, Dorr, and Wallace, it was lockdown in the fourth quarter, period. Lockdown. Couldn't get a shot off. Unbelievable. So great performance, Jackson, overall.
And, I think Thunder, especially in that second round series, they particularly struggled in third quarters. And game 7 versus the Nuggets and game 1 today, the Thunder came out and played great in the third quarter.
Yep.
It's how you go into half and it's how you start the half. Those are what are going to make or break you in a lot of playoff games. And that's why the Thunder even lost game 6 on the road versus the Nuggets, because they closed out the first half badly and started off the second half very poorly. But I thought Shai, man, with how he played in the second half, J-Dub had a great second half. Chet had a good second half. Kenrich Williams –
unbelievable.
Unbelievable, dude. I mean,
and Jay Will never played, and he didn't even play at the very end. So I wonder what's going on there. But Kenrich, what a move by Dagnall.
Well,
I mean, as much as I've kind of been on Mark in this postseason, that's a move that even during the game I was like, I don't understand this, but it worked out great.
And I wonder if this is a series where we don't see J Will a ton, just because Kenrich Williams, Alex Caruso, those guys can guard on the perimeter. J Will, not much of a perimeter defender.
Yeah.
So I think I would not be if that's something that we see happen more. Jerem took Ann out. Dude, Anthony Edwards, man. Anthony Edwards loves to talk, loves to try and do things to get him played.
He's gonna have some big games in this series, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think, the Thunder, Anthony Edwards, he's gonna get his, but if you can slow down Julius Randle like you did in the second half, you have to feel so good about every single game that you're in, because the Timberwolves, they don't have consistent shot makers outside of and Julius Randle.
Well, here's the thing. Naz Reid is really good. He was bad.
He's been struggling the second half of the year and the playoffs. He hasn't been very good.
Well, Naz Reid 0 for 7 from 3. DeShinzo 3 of 11. So between those two guys, you're 3 of 18. That's not going to happen every game this series. But let me tell you something else I think was a massive, massive turning point in this game. And it's Chet Holmgren. I think Chet in the third and fourth quarter was the Chet that they need him to be. He was really good for them, and they needed it back. And you look at the three guys, SGA, Chet, and J-Dub. First half, let's just call it what it was. They weren't very good. Those three were not very good in the first half. SGA was not very good outside of free throws. J-Dub wasn't doing a whole lot, and Chet. And in the second half, they came out to play, and they played really good. So here's the other thing. I think when you get a team like Minnesota, I think Minnesota's uber talented. I think they're really good. It's different than Denver, though, because when they got behind, they're fairly young as well, and they don't have any guys on that team that have won a championship at all. So they don't have that championship DNA where somebody can say, okay, let's right this ship. And
Right.
It kind of showed once the Thunder got to leave. I think it was Eric, maybe in the Discord, said game over. I think Thunder was only up 6 or 8, and Eric says game over, or may have been Grey God. I don't remember. But they were dead right, because after that, it just ballooned and ballooned and ballooned and ballooned, because that's what happens when you get young teams and they don't have that championship experience. And by the way, we have to say this too. Alex Caruso in the playoffs at 3 points right now, at 3-point shooting, has been unbelievable. Did he miss tonight? I don't even know if he missed tonight. Let me look and see. Alex Caruso 3 of 3 from 3-point range. I mean, and then really Kenrich 2 of 2. You're going to get 5 for 5 from those two guys. I think you're going to win a lot of games. Refs made Minnesota lose by 26. Okay. Man, I stay believing when everyone's word. Go Thunder.
I'm sorry, but if anyone wants to read the rule book, I know a lot of people complain about Shai and the foul calls he gets. It's illegal contact, and that's when he's shooting the ball when the illegal contact occurs. It's a foul in the rule book, so I don't know what the issue is with people complaining and whining about it. Because Nikola Jokic, he did the same thing and flopped more egregiously than Shai does.
Yeah, this was a great performance second half. I mean, unbelievable. Just 70-40. This is 70-40 in the Western Conference Finals game. That's insane. Chet was really good, Jackson, second half. He was, and defensively too. He had blocks at the rim. And I know me and Jeremy were kind of talking back and forth during the game. He was there talking about Wallace. He thought Wallace wasn't very aggressive when he went to the rim. He had some layups, but you got to remember Gobert's there, and they passed out of that a few times. I don't think it was horribly bad to do that because they ended up scoring anyway. Yeah, maybe Wallace needs to be more aggressive, but when you got Gobert down there, it affects things. And I thought they were really good and didn't let it affect too many shots down there.
Right, and I feel like the Thunder too. I feel like in the first half they were passing up a lot of open shots that normally guys take for the extra pass, and it was just allowing possessions to really stagger on, and that's not things that you want because the Thunder, they're so effective whenever they're able to get out and run and get shots up early in the shot clock. That's when they're at their best. And I think the Thunder, I think that they really, I think I said in the Discord, Thunder in 6. I wouldn't be shocked if the series goes 5 because the depth that the Thunder have, it's playing a major factor at this point in the year. And you see a lot of these teams where they're still dragging their starters 35, 38, 40 minutes. Outside of Shai and J-Dub, no one is consistently playing more than 32 minutes on the Thunder.
Wallace played a lot that first half.
Yeah, and, I think something that we've seen Mark Dagnall even do is he's going with the flow of the game. If these players are in and if they're playing well, he's not subbing them out. He's letting them play, and I think that's key, in which instead of just sticking with the normal rotation he did in the Grizzlies series and even at the beginning of the Nuggets series, I think you're just going to let your best players play.
Yeah, hey, let's Hunter, go ahead and open the phone lines, but Purple, you're 100% correct on this. I said it before the playoffs started. I said there's 3 teams I did not want to play as a Thunder fan. Lakers, Denver, and Golden State. And people laughed when the Lakers, they said, oh, Jason, the Lakers stink. The Lakers would have given the Thunder everything they wanted. I'm telling you, some of these matchups are just better, I think. And a lot of it is experience. And I know people don't like to hear me talk about youth, but you can see the youth in Minnesota too. You could see it tonight. When they got behind, it was like folded.
Right. Yeah. And
they are in Galveston. They are. I'm just saying, like, there's certain players too. Luka, Steph Curry. Mm-hmm. Like, I know Ant's a great player. Don't get me wrong. I would rather face Ant than Steph Curry or Luka or Jokic any day of the week. I just would.
Yeah. And for me, a great example of something that the Timberwolves, even like whenever they got down by 6 or 8, was they tried to get Naz Reid in the post. He was dribbling, spun right in. J-Dub, I believe, got the steal, and Dante DiVincenzo, he chucked up a horrible 3-point shot. And the Timberwolves, you'll live with them taking 45 to 53s a game. If that's how they're going to beat you, that's how they're going to beat you.
Yeah, we got a caller on the line, and we got Platone 20. And before I say something to Platone, I got to say Sooner Cowboy. I hope you're safe. I think maybe you were in the line of some of those bad storms there in Georgia. I think it's you that's in Georgia there, but hope everything's good. Platone, what's up?
Hey, Jay, I think you hit on something very important. For one of the first times this year in the playoffs, it's like we recognize, first half our three was not falling at all. And we recognized that and we didn't overdo it. Usually we overdo it. We try to jack up 30 or 40 threes and we shoot terrible. But we finally, I think we're learning our lesson where we are not an elite 3-point shooter. I know today's stats look good, but that's not how it's going to be for us. So the fact that the guys and the coach recognize that and they're limiting those attempts, especially when we're not hitting them, is a huge growth step. Because earlier in the year, even in the playoffs, they weren't doing that. They kept jacking them up over and over, and when they weren't hitting any of them. So they're forming an identity, right? They have a better idea what their identity is now, and their identity is not to jack up 53s a game, even if they're hitting some of them. The other thing I would say is, most of our guys, up until this recently, most of our guys take too many 3-pointers and need to take less. But Caruso needs to take more. The coach needs to say, because if you watch Caruso carefully, he doesn't really take that many. It's almost like he's always looking for passing and stuff like that. I think coach needs to say, hey, take 4 or 5 a game. You're hitting them, Now, most of the guys need to back off, but he's the exception. We need to get him more threes, not less, because he's hitting like, I don't know, over 50%, I think. This game he was 100%, but again, the playoffs, he's been at least, he's been one of our best 3-point shooters. So I think he needs to shoot more 3-pointers. A couple things I think that'll change. I think, obviously I think the Thunder is going to win the series, but Ant Edwards, he was way too passive in the fourth quarter. He kept his up. He's going to be way more aggressive next game. Watch, he'll start driving in a lot more. He's going to play a lot different the next game. I can promise that. And Naz Reid will be better. He's an elite 3. I know he's terrible today, but he won't be that bad the entire series. I expect him to shoot better going out.
Hey, good points, Platone. And I agree with both of those at the end. I think Naz Reid's going to shoot it better. And I do think Ant-Man's going to drive more. If you looked in the fourth quarter, when they put Caruso, Wallace, or Dort, either one of those 3 guys, and remember before the series, people were saying, Ant-Man, well, what the Thunder have that they didn't have against Joker, they have perimeter defenses they can rotate in. Joker, they didn't have a whole lot that can match up. They can rotate different guys against Ant, but I did think he was passive because he would try to drive around Wallace or Caruso, wouldn't get around him, he'd back it back out. He wouldn't go again. He would just kind of pass it off. So I think next time you will see him be way more aggressive. Good point, Platone.
Right. Hey,
let's get to Colin.
There's, in my opinion, another point in this game in which I think was really big and which you've seen the growth of the Thunder is the Timberwolves. They tried to run that 1-2-2 zone, and the Thunder, they got an easy oop to and the Timberwolves were like, this isn't going to work because the Thunder, they've seen that zone now. They saw it for basically 7 games, so they know how to beat it. Yeah. And I think that's going to be key as the Thunder. If the Timberwolves aren't going to be able to do that on them, I think Shai especially is going to be able to have his way like we saw him have.
Yeah, let's get to Colin. What's up, Colin?
What's up? How you guys doing?
Doing great, man. You?
Amazing after that first win. But yeah, like you guys said, I think this was the first game I've seen Chet actually like being physical down low against other bigs, and it felt like he was up there for every rebound, pulling it down. He had so many backdoor oops, cleanups, blocks on drives. Like it felt like this could be the series where if he plays well, I think we can get by. But as you guys said, the difference from last series, like you said, was Jokic. It's hard to stop Jokic because we don't have that much big man. But when you're just trying to contest the outside shooters, we have so many people that we can put out there that we can just contest and made him kind of second guess those shots.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And they do have multiple guys. I thought Wallace, I need to look at how many minutes he played complete, but first half he played for a lot of minutes. He played 33 minutes tonight. Casey Wallace did. Yeah, you had him and Caruso, guys. Caruso only played 22 minutes. Man, he was really good for the 22 minutes. I agree with you, Colin, on Chet in the second half. I thought the first half he was kind of getting a little bit bullied out there. And then he kind of woke up and really played a great second half.
Yeah, and then I think for me the biggest turning point was when Kendrick came in and hit a mid-range and a 3 back-to-back.
Yeah, big time.
To kind of give that spark. Right. And that's when I knew, okay, like that's when we were going to try to run away with it. But I think definitely this series we see more of him, Isaiah Joe, and more like guard rotation. Because if you saw, like after the second half, our guard rotation started to get stronger and they couldn't put the ball on the ground because they were getting pressed right at half court and threw the ball away. And couldn't get rebounds. And I think this series, Shai's going to average 30 because it's not Denver, and he's seen, like you guys said, the zone so many times that he's just going to be able to get his own.
Yep. And the Thunder, you mentioned the rebound. Thunder out-rebounded him 46-42. So they got the out-rebounding advantage. So big stuff. Hey, we haven't heard anything, Weston, on J. Will. Hey, thanks for the call, Colin. Appreciate it, man. We haven't heard anything on J. Will of why he didn't play. So maybe after the game, maybe Mark will address it.
I mean, I would say it's probably just a matchup thing. I
think that might be it too.
What I said is, I don't know if you want J. Will guarding on the perimeter, and the Timberwolves, they only have one true guy that plays in the paint, and Gobert, and I mean, he's not an offensive threat.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're right. I mean, and that's probably the reason. I mean, Randall's a tough. The way he was hitting those threes, it's tough to guard him out in the perimeter. He'll just blow right by you. Hey, we got Corey on the line. What's up, Corey?
What's up? How are you guys doing?
Doing well, man. How are you?
Better after the Thunder just put BTA on the Denver Nuggets. I mean, on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Sorry.
Yeah, man. What'd you think, man? Overall?
I thought it was a good game, but Hartenstein should have never been in foul trouble with them 4 fouls.
Yeah, he had a great first quarter. I mean, he had 10 or 13 points like right off the bat. He was kind of offensively was the main one scoring there, other than Shai's free throws in the first quarter.
Yeah, he did pretty good in the first half, but in the second half, he just wasn't himself.
Yeah, and Chet kind of took over, so he didn't need him as much either. So Gobert didn't play as much in the fourth, so they didn't really need Hartenstein in there. So, but yeah, great performance, man. Good to see. Isn't it?
Definitely.
And I think something that you've seen with this
appreciate it
Thunder team particularly is it really has been a tale of two halves consistently throughout the playoffs with this team. Yeah. I mean, outside of game 2 against the Nuggets, you really haven't seen this Thunder in game 1 against the Grizzlies. It's been a tale of two halves, and the Thunder, I think we're kind of waiting for them to put together this consistent back-to-back games because J-Dub, he's been up and down in halves. Chet's been very up and down in halves. I mean, even Shai has been up and down in halves. So it's like, when is this team really going to put together a consistent series? And I think, maybe I don't even know if they have to do that just because of how good they are defensively. And Jay, I know I told you, Jeremy Hunter, at the beginning of the year, I think the Thunder have a historically good defense.
Well, this defense right now,
you are seeing it in the playoffs. I don't know where it ranks all time in the playoffs among defensive ratings and all that. Hunter, I don't know if that's a stat you maybe can find for us, but it's crazy because they've got to be up there. They're just absolutely torching teams.
Yeah, the defense has been unreal, and if they win the championship, I think that's what you're going to look back on and say that's why. I thought a little bit. I thought a little bit tonight. Now, you might take this the wrong way. Maybe people will, but I thought Minnesota looked a little bit like the Thunder has in some early playoff games. When they got behind, they started they were jacking threes most of the game, and they weren't hitting them. And like Ant they didn't really try to penetrate as much. 51 threes, that's too many. And they are not winning. They're going to get swept if Naz Reid and DeShinzo don't shoot the ball better because they do rely on that a lot. So they're going to have to shoot the ball better. I think they will. I think they're going to have some games where because they had some good looks tonight. Naz Reid, his shot looked a little flat tonight, I thought.
Yeah.
And Jackson's tired, man. You can tell
dude, it has
the dude's out of college. What have you done today, Jackson?
Actually, I've done a lot. I haven't been home a lot today, so
come on.
But
I'll throw you on my back, come on.
But hey, Jay, I do think the Timberwolves, they are going to shoot better. As Austin says, the Wolves will shoot better. They're a good shooting team, and I think Naz Reid, he historically has been a Thunder killer since he's been on the Timberwolves, especially these last few years. So I do think that they will shoot better, but The Thunder defensively, when they need to get stops, they do it.
Yeah, and let me give you a stat, guys and gals. Here's a stat for you. The Thunder shot 82 shots. Minnesota shot 83. The Thunder, of those 82, 21 were threes. Of their 83, 51 were three-point shots. Yeah, that's just, you talk about live and die by the three. Live and die by the three. That's too many. 51 threes. I'm sorry. That's way too many. Now, I mean, as a Thunder fan, let's go. I mean, that's fine. But I'm just saying, if you're a Minnesota fan, that's too many threes.
Right.
Yeah, the home court advantage is big. But here's the thing: if the Thunder can win them both at home to start the series and go up 2-0, I would feel pretty good the Thunder getting a split in Minnesota, and then you're at 3-1. So the key is winning these first two at home, I think.
Right.
But you know what? I mean, the second half tonight was probably, I think this second half today was probably the best they've played. Maybe the whole playoffs. That might be an overstatement, but 70-40 against Minnesota in the second half. They moved the ball. You know, I'm going to say this. This might draw some people, maybe not like it. But SGA has got to be do more what he does in the second half. The first half, it was so much 1-on-3. I mean, they were converging on him with three players, and he would either chunk it up or turn it over. He's got to be better passing out of that earlier, because when they do that, they move the ball so well and they get open looks. He's got to recognize it earlier in the game. He had a great.
You know what's crazy? What you're saying is that's even something whenever they showed after halftime, when Mark Dagnall was saying, he's saying, we got to get to passing earlier. We're making the passes too late, getting in our actions too late.
Yeah.
And I mean, Jay, it's almost, you sound like you could be the Thunder's coach right now, Jay.
No, I definitely can't be. I'm not a coach at all. I've coached highest level of basketball I've coached.
Flag football, man. I know.
And fifth grade was tough enough. Eric, I agree with you. I think the mid-range shot is a lost art. And you look at it, and you're right about Steph Curry. Steph Curry changed the game, and now everybody thinks they're Steph Curry, and they're not. Now, if Steph Curry wants to shoot 51 threes in a game, be my guest. I wouldn't want to play against him. He'd probably make 30 or 40, not 15 that Minnesota made. No. But I do think it's a lot of teams rely on it. And you know what? When you're making it, you're pretty much unbeatable. But when you're not, pretty much can't win a game. So it kind of goes back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right about this, Steeler Man, too. Sometimes they were considered horror shots just a few years ago. Gobert just MIA. IA, man.
Hey, Jay, do you think it's going to be a consistent trend in the playoffs where we continue to see Wallace play more minutes than Dort?
It might depend on how Dort's shot falls early, but I'll say this. I know Dort's your chamber, and Dort on defense is unbelievable. But Wallace gives you a little something different. Now, Dort is a great lockup defender. But Wallace, with his hands and deflections and stuff, he gives you a little bit more. And then in the fast break with the ball handling. He had a couple tonight, either alley-oop or a bounce pass for a layup. He was really good with the ball passing it. I think they'll probably get close to equal minutes, but it probably depends on how Dort's shot's falling. But I really like Wallace. I know you know that because I've been high on him for a long time.
And you know what? I do agree with you. I think that Wallace offers you more as a full player than Jackson, go take a nap, Eric. Than what Dort does. I do. I think Wallace, his offensive game is a little bit more versatile. I don't know if he's as good of a shooter yet, but he's more consistent than Dort.
Dort, I mean, Wallace hasn't been hitting threes last few games, but he does give you a little more as far as with the facilitating it and the passing it than Dort does. Kyle, the Thunder have a plus 176 point differential over their 7 home playoff games in 2025. That is the highest point differential over 7-game home span in NBA postseason history. And if they go on to win a championship, they're going to have the highest in history. It's going to happen. And we got 2 callers hopped on here real quick, so let's get to them. We got one. I know Fit with Fry is going to have the energy. for you, Jackson, because you don't have it right now. You're tired. Fit with pride. Bring the energy. What's up?
What's up, y'all?
What's up?
I
Big
said
game.
this. I'll tell you guys what. I said this from the very beginning. I said that the Timberwolves the Timberwolves series would be an easier series any day of the week than the Denver Nuggets because you could throw so many different defenders at Ant-Man.
Yeah.
You don't have that guy who gets to the free throw line and orchestrates the offense from there. And when you don't have that, you got Ant-Man playing individual ball and then shooting a bunch of threes around him. It makes defense so easy. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if the Thunder sweep the Timberwolves. Not one bit.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm telling you, the game is easy because first off, Ant-Man's not the same after that ankle twist. You can see he's giving up on those drives every
That's
time.
true. He did give
He's
up
giving. Before that, he tried to dunk that one time. He didn't even get the elevation he normally gets.
and he was still way above the rim. It's crazy.
Yeah, but usually he would just slam that on his head. That ankle twist, I'm telling you, that hurt him in that first half. But I want to say this: in the beginning of that fourth quarter, if I was an alien, I've never seen a basketball player, but somebody downloaded like the meaning of basketball into my mind or the rules or whatever. Chet Holmgren looked like the best player in the world in that block back to back to back. I mean, the guy, if he plays with that motor and puts a little weight on, he's him and Wemby are going to be. That's going to be the next series that we're going to have to get by. I guarantee you that the next upcoming season is going to be us versus San Antonio.
Yeah, but don't you think he kind of goes like first half? He kind of looked like a fish out of water out there.
He does. That's the issue. That's why I said he's got to get his motor up. He's got to get his mindset right.
Yeah.
He just plays weak sometimes.
Yeah.
If he just lowers that shoulder, but I'll give you guys this, and then I'll get off here and let the other callers get on. There's not a team left that's going to be as hard to beat as Denver. I guarantee it.
I'm with you. Now let me ask you. I'm with you on that. But let me ask you this. Let's just say they get by Minnesota. Who would you rather face? And I saw the question from Dow Post. Indiana, New York. I'd rather face
Indiana.
Indiana.
I'm telling you,
yeah.
Because Jalen Brunson.
I'm with you. I don't want any part
I don't want to see that guy.
I don't either.
He's fearless. That guy's fearless. He has that attitude. And it makes me think, who was really the best player on that Mavericks team? Luka or Jalen?
Yeah, that's true. They got rid of him too. That's crazy. Yeah.
You know, you think about the Mavericks retrospect, and you look back, and you're like, man, this team had probably the top 8 players in the league on that team, and they don't have either one, and they got an old Anthony Davis and a busted up Kyrie, but they did get the #1 pick. It's a conspiracy going on there, but we'll see. Hey, you guys have an absolutely incredible night, man. Always appreciate y'all on every night, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, man. Appreciate it, man.
Hey, and I think something that Fitz said, but is that it was even, I don't remember if it was Richard Jefferson or Mike Breen that said it on the broadcast. I know it was talked about in the Discord as well, but if Chet just plays under control, just
slow it down.
Is able to use his length and stuff. He can get to his spots. He can create his own shot because he's a unicorn player. But in my opinion, he still is kind of just learning how to play the game and stuff. And this really is only his second full season playing, which is crazy to think. So he still is a super young player. But I think Chet has always been one of the best shot blockers in the NBA ever since he got drafted. And I think his presence around the rim is just it's huge because his block could be the difference in between a win or a loss in one game.
Yeah, I think we have Austin on the line. Wait, I think we got Austin here.
Yep.
Austin, what's up?
Hello. Is my mic working?
It is working, Austin. We can hear you.
Okay, perfect. What a second half. I think we looked a little bit tired in that first half. And then in the second half, Shai started getting going. Chet was aggressive, which I like to see down low.
Huh.
And well, I don't think the Timberwolves are going to shoot that bad, but if they want to jack up 53s, be my guest.
Yeah, here's the thing, and we haven't talked about this tonight, Austin, but I'm going to bring it up. And first off, I agree with the people saying it's way too early. It is way too early to say the series is over. The other
Yeah,
thing,
way too early.
another thing I'll say that we have not talked about, you got to remember the Thunder just played 2 nights ago.
Right.
Minnesota coming off a long break, sometimes you start off cold, and they did tonight. And that doesn't mean they're going to play the series that way, but I do think the longer rest kind of hurt them tonight. I think it hurt Minnesota tonight.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
And I think it might have hurt us in the last round against the Nuggets when they only had 2 days off. And
Yeah.
we had like a week or a week and a half almost.
Yeah, sometimes it's better to play like you do the regular season where you play every other night or something. You're kind of in the rhythm. So
Right, yeah. And well, we were 8 for 13 from 3 in the second half, which was huge. Caruso was 3 for 3. At first it looked like we when I was watching the game live, I didn't think we shot well, but then you look at the stat sheet, we were 10 for 20.
yeah, I'm with you, Austin. In fact, I thought the Thunder had shot more than 23s too. And then
Right.
but it's because they started off missing early. They were cold early. And then, like you said, with the great stat, 8 for 13 in the second half. That's got to be the best they've shot this postseason.
Yeah, they were 11 for 21.
Yeah, it's got to be the best
Right.
they've shot postseason.
So,
Right, yeah. And well, we don't need to jack up 43s. If just get quality looks, knock them down at like a 40% rate, and I think we should be good to go.
Yep.
And
Thanks, Austin, for the call, man.
All right, yep.
Appreciate it.
And if the Timberwolves, if they're not going to run that zone, the Thunder should absolutely have no business shooting 30-plus threes.
Well, you know what I thought was interesting, Jackson? I'm glad you brought up about the zone, but if you remember this game, the way the game started, which the Thunder struggled a little bit at, they were getting the ball out of SGA's hands. They were doubling him, they were tripling him, right? Second half, Mark Daigneault made a great adjustment. We haven't talked about this. He comes out the second half with J-Dub bringing the ball up and Shai off ball, okay? And he didn't really get many shots at the first of the second half. Other guys were scoring. But then when the Shai did get the ball after that, they weren't doubling. He was getting one-on-one action. And I think that was a great job by Mark coming out of the halftime. It was a great adjustment. And then when it's one-on-one, I'll take my chance with the SGA. It's when there's 3 people on him. That's the problem when he's having trouble passing. But second half, they didn't have that issue. I love the move to have J-Dub bring the ball up. J-Dub had a great second half. It was great. Hanging in the lure talent.
Right. And if J-Dub, like he did tonight in the second half, will continue to attack the basket and use his body and use his strength to his advantage, there's not many guys that are going to be able to stop him at the rim.
I wish he would kind of post up more, don't you?
Yes, I absolutely do agree. Use the size he has, because what is he? He's like 6'8". I mean, he's like
he's taller than that.
Oh, Chet.
Oh, who are you talking about?
Dub. I'm talking about Dub.
Okay. I got you.
But I'm saying Dub, like at 6'8", 215 pounds or whatever he is. Dude is a monster. I mean, he should absolutely be able to use his size on the guards and the wings that are on him and get to the basket at will. And I think, same thing could be said for Shai with how special a player he is. If he'd stop settling for some of the dumb threes he does. Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to read final stats here before we get off here, Jackson. Like I said, field goal percentage, Minnesota shot 34.9, Thunder 50% from the field, 52.4% from 3. And Minnesota 29% from 3-point range. Thunder out-rebound them 46-42. Thunder 12 turnovers, Minnesota 17. And 18 assists for Minnesota, 27 for the Thunder. So just a great – and a lot of that was done in the second half. Really good. Hey, Austin, really good call. No, not to worry about it, man. You were really good on that.
Hey, Jay.
All the callers were great tonight. Yeah.
For you going into game 2, what's one thing you want to see the Thunder do better?
I think they got to start the game better, because I don't think they've started the game very good. In pretty much, I'm trying to think.
I would agree with that.
It hasn't been good, because I think Minnesota. I like that word. Y word, the young. They made the Western Conference Finals last year. But they are a young, inexperienced team when it comes to guys that have been in big time playoff atmosphere and championship atmospheres. And I think if you can get a lead on them, that's when you can really get rolling. And I know Brett was at the game tonight. He might have been sitting next to you. I think they were close. I don't know if they were close together, but I know Jeremy was there. Jeremy texted me during the game, dude. Jeremy went with 2 of his sons. I'm happy for Jerm. I really am, because this was a bucket list item for him to go to Western Conference Finals and for them to have a performance like they had in the second half. Because, Jackson, you know this. If they lose that game, Jeremy driving back home is very upset.
Yes,
And the bucket list item turns into another item, and that's a trash item that he's not happy about. Even though he did it with his sons, he would have been happy anyway. But yeah, the atmosphere looked insane, Brett. It always is in Thunder Arena there, Paycom Center.
And you know, I think you've even heard players say this. It's kind of, I mean, it's kind of like a college environment in there. Jay, you see everyone, they have their noisemakers, they have on their shirts. It's kind of just like, I almost want to say just like a massive student section in there. Everyone's just going nuts the whole game. And that's what I think gives the Thunder best home court advantage in the NBA.
Yeah. And Thunder looked the part in that second half. And I'll say this, I just want to, you got game 2 coming up on Thursday. You really don't want to go to Minnesota 1-1. Get this next one. Get up 2-0, because this series is far from over. I know, big-time victory, 30-point victory in the second half, 70-40. People think, this is great. But you still got to take care of business. Thunder took care of business tonight with the win, dominating the second half. Lockdown defense, great second half. Appreciate you guys joining us. Hey, we'll be back Thursday night after the Thunder Live. We'll also be back tomorrow night for our regular scheduled live show. Thanks for all the ones that called in tonight. We really appreciate you calling in, give us your thoughts. And for the ones in the chat, keeping the chat going, y'all are the best. Thunder win. We'll see you next time.